This is my video journal. It's not intended to be advice or guidance. I'm just expressing what I'm thinking and feeling in the present moment. I've been in this space for 7 months now. This has been like the cave that I've retreated into to get really deeply in touch with myself and do the work. Do the work, do the work, do the work. Oh, I'm finally starting to find balance. And it took me, I had to reach a point where I was only working and only like punishing myself, just trying to do this thing that was so arbitrary. Like I defined it, but I forgot that I defined it. The work, I mean, like, or even I defined success, I defined meaning, I defined all of it, and I've just been destroying myself to achieve this definition. And yeah, it took me all the way to this edge where like there is no deeper to go without it becoming self-destructive. It has become self-destructive, but without it annihilating me, reaching total annihilation, like the self-destructive behavior of pursuing these ends that I defined has become the one thing that's going to destroy everything. And that sounds so dramatic. Like I've come to terms recently that like nobody's really hearing what I'm saying a lot of the time, and it's just because you don't have context. So, you know, I post something on social media and people will reach out and they'll share their experiences and they'll say that they're here if I need to share some of my experiences, but I just know, like, I guarantee you that you cannot handle what I'm putting myself through. And I guess this is surfacing right now because I need it to stop. I need to stop doing this. I need to stop taking on everybody else's pain to such a profound level. Like, it's just, and it's not like I understand intellectually. There's so many things that make sense in your head first, but they take time to make sense in your heart or make sense totally, like for the sense that it makes to integrate into all of your what you are, like your total being. Like I get that this is not the way to do things because people need to heal themselves, people need to go through their own challenges and journeys, but I want to support them and I want to be available. But yeah, I've just found where the boundaries are. Like I found how much you can give yourself to somebody else and how much of your time and energy and presence you can make available before it becomes unhealthy. I've found like I couldn't possibly articulate it, and it would be different for every single individual human being anyway, but I've found for myself metrics that I can use to measure my return on investment for what I'm contributing. And I don't mean financially because I'm making so much money right now, it's ridiculous. And I don't care, like it's actually a source of frustration that like they just keep throwing money at me to deal with this shit that nobody should ever deal with in the way that we're dealing with it. Like we don't have the resources to help these people and we're being asked to do these things that are just like beyond, like it's costing my team too much emotionally and spiritually, probably. Like I don't want to speak for everybody, but it's just, this is not sustainable and everybody knows it. And like I'm kind of leading the charge, or like one of the people that are leading the charge, and just like putting myself on the line to contribute meaningfully to these people's lives. Like setting a bad example. Like, if anybody is looking to be, like, I don't know if they are. I do know, like, I feel that some people are at least looking not up to me, but across to me. Like, we got this, like, team. And yeah, I just feel like maybe other people are feeling similarly, but like, it's just this return on investment thing that I'm talking about is like, I could be this present, this available, and I could put this much energy into being into supporting people and contributing meaningfully to people's lives, and I could get like results that mean something. Like I said, the return on investment's not financial. It's like, it's meaning based. It's like, meaning is probably the closest metric. Like, the closest I can come to articulating the metric that I'm using to measure my return on investment. So, like, if I can contribute to somebody's life and it means something, and my presence in that person's reality helps them make some kind of progress, like, that's the return on investment that I actually want. And like, it's not like certain people deserve it and certain people don't, but there's like certain people that, like, if you don't have the resources to support them effectively, then your return on investment essentially falls to zero. Like, you can't possibly give any more. Like, it's going to take so much more than an individual effort, or even a group of individuals that are incredibly committed to being present with that person. Like, if you don't have the foundations beneath that, like, all the love in the world, all the compassion in the world sometimes just isn't enough, and that's something that's really hard to swallow. Like, and this is what I mean by this arbitrary, I can't remember what I called it, but like, I decided that all of this mattered. I decided that I didn't want to fail at this task that I created, and I've become so involved in it and so invested in it, and to take a step back from it and just realize, like, you don't have to do this, and there are a myriad of ways that you could contribute meaningfully. Like, I could even have a different career if I wanted to, just to zoom all the way back out and just like detach from it for a moment and just think clearly. Like, doesn't have to be what you do. And for a long time, I've been feeling like I have ways to contribute really meaningfully, like to make profound impact with the people that are in alignment with me in this moment in time, who are ready to walk beside me or work collaboratively with me to improve their own lives. Like, why invest so much energy into a space where that's not available when you know that there is a space where it is available? It would be like, a surfer who loves surfing and is just gets so much joy from it and brings so much joy to others, and inspires others and gets people out exercising and enjoying what's going on. Like, and then that surfer just goes into the desert and like tries to make do with the sand dunes, like, and finds like a plank of wood and starts like trying to surf the sand dunes and trying to convince everybody like this can be just as good as surfing. Like, that's a weird metaphor, but that's just what's presenting in my awareness right now. Like, that's how it's psychologically revealing in a way, because like that's how desolate it feels. Like, I feel like I could be paddling around in a vibrant, beautiful ocean with all of these people who want to be surfing these waves, and I'm in this like isolated desert where there's nobody else and nobody wants to be there, and there's no water, and we're like dying of thirst. It's just
And I've been doing like bigger and bigger hours. I keep saying I'm going to scale it back, but this is like, I am scaling it back now. I've had the discussion. I haven't had the discussion. I've had the initial, I've given the initial statement, like I am going to be reducing my exposure to this work, to my manager, and he respects that because he knows as well, like I'm going to be more effective even in the work that I continue with the team if I take care of myself first. Like that's the key for everybody that's listening to this. If nothing else connects. Like if you grow yourself, like you can contribute more. So if you're interacting with the world in a way that it's poisoning you and it's actually reversing your growth or stunting your growth and causing stress, anxiety, trauma, pain, keeping you up at night so you're not sleeping properly, you're not eating properly, you're running for the addictions like taking drugs and just doing all these negative behaviors just to cope with like what you're experiencing, like that's not effective. Like you'd be so much better to stop doing the hard things and find the easier steps that you can take to take care of yourself first and grow yourself so that you can be the foundation, like actually be firm and strong so that you, when you make yourself available to other people, like they can actually lean on you and you're solid, like you're not going to crumble, because that's like what people really need, like because that's what I see in the whole system. And it's kind of why this is so emotional for me, because I'm not solid in this experience that I'm having, but it's not, I don't think anybody possibly could be. Like it takes a tribe to deal with something of this magnitude. You can't, it's not, one person can't deal with like the magnitude of the kinds of things that we're experiencing. But yeah, I want people, when they are told like there's help available and you can find your way out of this, when they actually go looking for the help, or they looking for the support, or looking for answers or a way to deal with what they're experiencing, that what they approach actually is solid and it does something and it's available and it doesn't just evaporate or slip through their fingers like the sand in the desert, you know, like. And the thing that is, I guess, the elephant in the room for me, but maybe like when I'm thinking about all of this, is like I have the tools, but until they're acknowledged by like mainstream, like I may as well not have them, like in these instances. Like I'm not permitted to discuss certain things and they're just not acknowledged. So that's why I need to withdraw as well, because there's no point in entering into like a surf competition if you're not allowed to bring your surfboard. Like you have to do that without a board. Like body surf against these waves, or you can probably still do that. It's a bad metaphor. I'm just trying to extend a metaphor that doesn't make sense in the first place. But I'm a little bit stressed. That's an understatement. So it's not my best moment. Like I'm not particularly very present with myself or very deeply in touch with my body in this moment. Like, but that's still valid. Like, why not share these moments as well, where I'm actually like at the edge of my sanity? And I've got it all laid out as well. Like another thing, people see me like share something that's a little bit vulnerable, and they're like, "Oh, Kai needs my help," or like Kai isn't getting support or whatever. But like, I've got my plan. Like, when I'm out of balance, I'm gonna get back in balance. I've learned this. Like, I know what to do. But this is the furthest I've stretched myself ever. And I think the reason that I did it was because I had to learn the limits of compassion and the limits of like caring. Like you can care as much as you want, but if you don't have the tools to
assist people, then you're not going to be able to make significant impact or difference in that person's life. And the deeper and more bitter pill to swallow is, if they don't want your help, it wouldn't matter if you did have the tools. They're not going to meet you where you're at. You have to meet them where they're at. And there's plenty of people that can meet these people where they're at right now. And I just don't think that that's my role. And that's weird and hard for a moment, because I need to let go of so much that I've involved myself with, so that I can actually spend more time in my true role, because there are so many people who are ready now to meet, like, for so many people who are ready now for me to meet them where they're at, and we would be in alignment, and we would actually be able to collaboratively improve each other's lives. Really, that's what you really want. Like, the best experiences that I've had in, like, this kind of human services work, where you're trying to improve individuals' lives or improve communities, is like the people where you're learning just as much from them as they're learning from the tools that you're and things that you're sharing with them. Like, I think that's where the growth is. But yeah, I just see holes. I see holes in the system, and everybody knows it. And even if you have this idea or this vague sense that things aren't working, but you can't even begin to articulate the issues, and you just have this burning desire to do something about it, but you can't just jump in there and solve these kinds of problems. It's going to take development, discipline, growth, patience. So that's what I'm working on. If you got anything out of this video, please pass it on to anybody else you know who may be, feeling similar things. I don't know what kind of person needs to hear or see this, but yeah, somebody might. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're enjoying this format, this kind of just sharing my thoughts and feelings in the present moment. And I don't know what else. Like, this is just, it feels good though. I didn't plan to, I wasn't going to do any videos this week, and I just thought, like, let's capture something like in one of these moments. I've got time, like I'm doing some washing and just doing some, like, domestic chores, so may as well, like, get realer than ever before and just, like, share this.